Hi, Taurus. I hope you guys are doing great today. Welcome to your general messages for the beginning of December. Let's get right into things. I did a separate long read on the full solar eclipse that's happening on December 4th, so you can check that out. I timestamp everything, and I'm going to timestamp this reading as well. So we're going to do some oracle, get a feel of what's going on, do an extended general spread, connecting it to all areas of life. Then I'm going to do 3 different relationship reads, one for those of you complicated, those single, and those in separation. Okay. And let's get right into things. So this full solar eclipse is happening in your 8th house. So no kidding, between worlds. Okay. That is something is being eclipsed out of that 8th house. So what is the 8th house? The 8th house is two things, really. Well, two things. It's 2 areas of life. It's a very big house. If we had to call any house the least comfortable, we're going to call the 8th house the least comfortable because it has a lot to do with the endings and beginnings. The modern ruler is Pluto. The original ruler is Mars. It's the energy of Scorpio, which is all about endings in the beginning. Can I speak? Endings and beginnings, the need to transform things, anxiety. When it comes to like relationships and just things in life, a lot of anxiety, worry, all hangs out in that scorpionic energy, right? And it's this, really kind of digging down. It's a very deep, very intense, very dramatic filled energy as well, right? So that right now with that in mind, it's the house of where we show up in relationship. How well do we blend our money with our partner? How well do we blend intimacy, our value system? Right? How well are we doing these things in our life, right? And so if we're feeling things that are inequitable, or we're feeling there was a lot of lip service provided, but with little follow through, there can be a lot of tension right now, particularly because having this full solar eclipse with Sagittarius in that house, Sagittarius is about truth. Sagittarius has to do with the way things are supposed to be. It rules religion. It rules higher mindedness. It rules our moral code, our moral compass. It rules the law, rules many things, right? So with that in mind, right, we're going to be looking at first and foremost our belief system and having to do with relationships. How equitable is everything? How good do we feel in everything? Are we living our truth in that situation? In the same way, we may be dealing with this in a monetary way, because monetarily it represents the money that our partner brings into the union, but it doesn't have to do with partner at all. Maybe you're not with anyone. It also represents money coming to you from other means or other people through an inheritance, an insurance payout, alimony, child support, and investment. The 8th house also rules debt, it rules taxes, it rules the stock market, retirement, right? This is just cyclical money coming back around and coming to you, right? So there's something that's being eclipsed out of this energy, and you're needing to release, feeling very dug in and very attached to anything in this energy. Okay, so something may be releasing to the point of completing. So if you have any sort of situation going on with a lawsuit, an inheritance, finalizing, wrapping up that divorce so that the marriage is like officially over, or it's the closing out energy that we're feeling right now. With Sagittarius is the south node of the moon. We're closing in on the 18-month period that he's been the south node of the moon, getting ready to pass that torch over to the Scorpio energy, where the Scorpio will be the south node of the moon officially in the middle of January, but we're going to start to feel the energy hit now, right? So this is the area that's going to be impacted for you. So for a lot of you, there's going to be also this energy, we're falling in and out of love with things. We're falling out of love with things we never thought we would fall out of love with, and falling in love with ideas, concepts, things that we never thought we would, right? And things that we're willing to do versus what we're not willing to do, right? We're changing, right? We're very like different versions of ourselves over these past 2 years, particularly Taurus. That's a pretty profound energy, because there's been a lot of digging up of the past for you, right? There's been a lot of that, right? So And quite frankly, a lot of you are looking at, your 5-year plan, your 10-year plan. You're looking at your salary, you're looking at your friends, you're looking at the people and the situations that you surround yourself with, right? With that Neptune in the 11th house, Neptune's been retrograde, is going to be going direct on December 1st this week. So you've been very reflective about where you've been keeping yourself small and held back from going after what it is that you want, having to do with the, more money or different friends, or looking at, why you've been feeling held back in particular areas. And there's a new light that's going to be shining on it that's coming up right now. That Neptune energy in your 11th, it's very sacrificial, it's very martyrish, right? But when it's in retrograde, we're looking at these things. Oh man, where do I maybe make a lousy choice in my friends? Or where am I not opening myself up to friends enough? Where am I not opening myself up to enough, taking risks enough, in my career kind of thing? That's all 11th house stuff. So a lot of you are going to be feeling this push, right? You're going to be feeling this push. So a couple of other things I wanted to mention. This new moon is going to be conjunct Mercury, right? So there's going to be a lot of communicating in that 8th house. To you and other people. There's always someone else in that 8th house. So either communicating about that lawsuit, about that relationship, whatever it is. There's a lot of focus on thinking and communicating. Very busy energy in there. That new moon also quincunxes Uranus. Okay, so this can make you feel very, very nervous. Uranus is in your 1st house of self. Right. Right. And so we have that new moon in that 8th house. So you could be feeling very nervous, though, about what's going on in your marriage, or what's going on with that lawsuit, or what's going on with that business opportunity. It could be a very nerve-wracking energy, and you find it hard to relax because your intuition is sensing change. Yeah, and some drama is on its way. It's almost like a buildup of electric energy. And a lot of you can feel this pressure to change coming from somebody who has some power over you. So that could be, since it's 8th house, it could be a spouse, it could be a boss, it could be a lawyer, it could be an accountant, it could be anyone who you perceive in your life as having some sort of power over you. Right? Something unexpected may force you to change your routine, your behavior, your plans. An adjustment is needed, whether you are forced to make the changes or you experiment and find a different way forward for yourself, where you make the change before it could be forced upon you. So just be very flexible, cautious about taking any crazy risks right now. Not a good idea. I don't think until the end of January, let Venus come out of retrograde. She's going to be going into retrograde in Capricorn in the middle of December. But 40 days and 40 nights, right? And that's going to be felt in your 9th house of your belief system of negotiating, advertising, marketing, long distance travel, situations going on with your in-laws, right? Venus is beautiful in Capricorn. Capricorn loves Venus, right? They love that energy together, but Venus is going to be retrograde, not the end of the world, but there's going to be some sort of stagnation if you're trying to launch something or if you're trying to negotiate anything at this point. But change is absolute because it is conjunct Pluto. So that you have to know. There is definitely change going on in that area. Something getting launched, something getting put out there to the public, some sort of really good negotiation. There's going to be some sort of good positive change there. It also has, 9th house really does also resonate with your very long-term plan. So there's some sort of change that's going on in where you saw your life going. And even if it's very challenging initially, because Pluto is never fun, ultimately it ends up bringing us to where we want to go. It's almost like, think about the caterpillar cracking out of the chrysalis to become a butterfly, right? It's kind of like that. Painful. It's painful being born, right? I mean, that's just what it is. What else did I want to say? So Saturn is squaring Uranus. I really can't leave that out because that's actually very important. It hasn't happened in a very long time. This is a very rare occurrence that Saturn, you have Saturn in your 10th house of career, public reputation, your standing in the world, is squaring Uranus in your 1st house of self. So there can be some unexpected setbacks, restrictive change. It can bring change that you don't want. Also, it makes it harder to make the kind of changes that you do want. This can be a very frustrating, intense time, but if you stay open-minded, patient, and flexible, what is appearing initially to seem like a challenge can be turned into an opportunity to get rid of any sort of like negative, restricted, limiting kind of energy for you that you're feeling within your sense of self. And that could really apply to any area of your life. The 10th house is not only your career, public reputation, and standing in the world, though. Saturn represents father. The 10th house also represents us realizing how our past has colored the way we show up in life. And so Saturn in that 10th house is making us look at that and take responsibility for it. But Jupiter in there is going to allow us to grow. So there's a lot of push-pull energy that's going on here where opportunities are going to be presented, but we may question our sense of self. We may question our ability to perform. We may question our worthiness, deep down, maybe not up in our conscious mind. No, damn it, I could do that, whatever. But deep down, it's just like there's this unbelievable nervousness that's going to just sort of be reverberating through your life. So don't be surprised, Taurus. You guys are normally like very chill and all of that. Don't be surprised if you just randomly, boom, you're in the supermarket, you start crying. It's okay, honey. It's all part of the process. Don't be surprised if suddenly you're driving in your car and something just brings up this emotion in you, because you're healing on a very deep level, right? You have Chiron and Aries in the 12th house, and the 12th house houses, think of it as like a warehouse of our past. And Chiron is in there digging through the nonsense, digging through the basement in that warehouse, looking at the past to try to pull out the most painful things to heal, because he doesn't want it to be in our way anymore. And he's doing it big time now. He's retrograde right now until the end of the month. So you're doing a lot of growing. So there's a lot of processing going on underneath your hood and in your energies, right? Where it can almost become like a nervous, where you're almost excited, but you're scared to death on the other side of it. And in the middle of all of that, you're very confused, where you're not sure, right? And that could be very uncomfortable for the bull gang, right? Because you guys like your feet to be on the floor, So we have between worlds. Stuck in the past, stuck in the future, stuck here. Where am I? Right? You're really not even here. You're stuck in the past and the future. You're having a very hard time staying in the present. Breathe. Oh man, if you can meditate. If you don't jive with meditating, even if you could just sit down for 5 to 7 minutes, put your hands on your belly, fill your belly with air to the point of pushing your hands out. Because if you do that, you can't tense up your shoulders, and just breathe in and out and pay attention to your breath just for like 5 or 7 minutes. Even if you can't clear your mind, just, try to do that. Try to stay in the here and now. Because there's a lot of, but that happened, but what if that happens? But that happened already. That was real. But what happens if that happens in the future? And you're having a very hard time staying in the moment because you are Phoenix rising, everything I just said. He said this without even looking at the card. It's so funny. But we have this idea where it's working with selling out. You're Phoenix rising, which is the same thing as a butterfly rising from the ashes. You're absolutely growing, and you're just getting ready to become the north node of the moon for 18 months, man. Your life is going to take significant changes over the next 2 years. All good. You are the north node. Whatever changes are coming in, it's going to level you up. Just know that it's going to level you up. So I don't want you to be afraid of it. Don't want you to be afraid. Scorpio is going to be the south node. We have to release the drama. And Taurus, you are going to be the teacher of the zodiac, the same way as Gemini is right now, and it's been for 2 years. Gemini has been all about, no, we got to look at things differently. Don't be so tunnel vision, right? All of that kind of thing. Trying to slap Sagittarius down a little bit. That no, it has to be this way, and the law has to be this, and the rules and the regulations and the this and the that. And we have people creating upheaval against the establishment, against that it has to be this way, right? That's what's been going on the past 2 years. the Sagittarius and Gemini axis. Now we're going into the Scorpio Taurus axis. Okay, so we're going to need to release the drama from our lives. And for you guys, where is the most drama? But in your house of relationships, particularly for those of you who are Taurus risings. You know, that is the area of Scorpio, if you're a Taurus rising, right? So, you know, release the drama, you know, become very sort of interdependent in the relationship, not look to your partner for happiness, feeling super complete within yourself, all of that good stuff, all that good stuff. So you are the Phoenix rising, beautiful. So you have to breathe, look at where you've been selling yourself out, and recognize the cycles that have been happening in your life. Look at where you've been selling yourself out and recognizing the cycles. Look for the common denominators. Yeah, definitely an energy of retreating. I feel like a lot of you will be. It's like, I'm just going to go hide in this hole and call me when it's all over kind of thing. But you're going to be asked to take the lead on something, even if it scares the hell out of you. Have faith. You have everything that you need to make something happen. Lots of fear, lots of like nervous energy going on here for sure. Nervous energy. Let's see. But whatever you're feeling squeezed out of right now, Taurus, you totally know. It's like, even if you're scared and you don't have all the answers and you're scared, right? Even if you're in that space, you know intuitively on this indescribable intuitive level that everything's going to end up better than where it is or where it's been. And if not better, because the better is very subjective, different in a way that resonates a lot more authentically with you. This is that. Five of Cups. Sadness. Oh my goodness. You know what I see here? You're trying to pull yourself out of something and you're being so confused. But having the willingness and knowing that there's a lot of joy on the other side, but there's so much anxiety and being able to make that happen. Oh my goodness. Okay. Some of you are patiently planning. We have the Seven of Pentacles, the Two of Wands, and the High Priestess. Patient. Seven of Pentacles, very patient energy. I kind of want to jump right over into this. This is about hard work paying off, something being really hard. So if it's hard to leave that relationship, it's hard to leave that job, it's hard to leave something, that's okay. Don't let that scare you, because whatever's hard is going to end up paying off. This, whatever you're moving towards has such a strong potential for success. So whatever the situation is, don't give up. Even if it seems like, you know, because we're really speaking to your anxiety here, this Nine of Swords is truly like overwhelm, worry, depression, not responding well to the external stress because your way out of something is not clear. But man, do you want to be happy? You have this strong desire to be happy and this absolute focus on what's not working. Because that is with the Five of Cups, right? If you look at this, there are 5 cups here, right? Only 3 are down. The other 2 are still standing, right? But he can't see those. He's focusing on what's wrong. And he's not recognizing what could be, right? Because there's a lot of doubt and there's a lot of anxiety and there's that, you know, that stuff that we were talking about before, but man, you're just so overwhelmed. Because that's also speaking to this 10 of Wands. And 10 of Wands is the energy of overwhelm, responsibilities, or at least feeling super, super burdened by a situation. And some of you, you know, if you're in a relationship, part of the problem may be if you're feeling very overwhelmed and very sort of out of touch with your relationship, it's because you guys need to pay more attention to the relationship. The relationship may actually be neglected right now because of other things going on in life, right? And that could almost incite a kind of like, I want to say bitterness, but like, I don't want to hear about it. Right? I always say that with the 10 of Wands. It's almost like Because I get that a lot, right? When I'm doing like in-person readings, it's almost like somebody, I could sense just from their energy that they don't feel very receptive. And that's okay. That's okay. It's like, yes, I'm overwhelmed. Of course, yes, I'm overwhelmed. I feel sad. I'm not happy. I'm having a hard time dealing. Like, give me the answer, right? It's kind of like that thing. It's, but we have to go through the process, right? There's got to be some validation of like maybe what's going on here. But the energy of overwhelm. Now, look, this is not going to be your whole life. It's still a minor arcana, even though it's a 10. But it does mean that whatever you've been doing, you can't do it anymore. If you think about it from the point that this is a Saturn, which is about restriction and delay, in Sagittarius, which is about moving forward with integrity. So it's like a lot of no and restriction of being held back and your ability to move forward in a way that resonates with who you are and how you want to live your life. So in order for you to get to where you really want to be, you have to put these wands down. And these wands are being put into your arms because of a situation, because of a relationship, because of a job, something. Right? You're feeling very overwhelmed, but something is ending and you can feel it because you're focused on your happiness, but you're just not sure how to actually make that happen. And you know that you may not be responding very well to the whole situation. Now, clarifying this 10 of wands, we have the 2 of cups in reverse, which indicates a breakup, separation, a divorce, argument. For some of you, disinterest. You're not interested in that job anymore. You're not interested in trying to work that relationship out anymore. Like you care about them, but you're just not interested. It's almost like the toothpaste is out of the tube. You can't put it back in. The damage has been done. And there's no gumption in whoever is resonating with this to actually get the legs back on whatever situation you're feeling this over. And you're feeling very strongly pulled to detach. You may have detached already. You may have done it already mentally before you do physically, right? But this is at least in some, like you could share a bed every night with somebody and have a 6 of swords energy, where it's just like, okay, I'm not even dealing with their energy. Detaching, allowing a little space to do some internal work on yourself, kind of encapsulating yourself in, in a bubble of positivity the best that you can, even though you might be confused right now. But then that's being clarified by the 2 of wands again. Yeah. So, I mean, look, this is a Mars and Aries energy, fresh path, new perspective. You're making plans. You're making plans for sure. Some of you, be straight here, this is not going to resonate with all of you. Some of you met somebody through work or friends and you're keeping it a secret. You're keeping it a secret. So you met somebody. Now, if you're, married, I don't feel like meeting this person is the reason that the marriage is over. You know what I'm saying? I feel like meeting this person is just like sort of an additional sort of symptom of something that was already not in a good space, right? So if that's your energy, but regardless whether you meet somebody or not, because that is what the 2 of wands could certainly mean, there is this focus on the future, right? But you're trying to get your ducks in a row, right? Is there are 2 aspects to a situation that you have to consider. So some of you maybe have children that you need to think about, or some of you may be in the space where you're thinking about where you're going to live. If it has to do with work, should I do this job or that job, which is going to best maximize my skill set? Some of you may be having all of this at once, where you're thinking about leaving and you're also thinking about moving into a new job, only because you do have Saturn and Jupiter in that 10th house of career. And then you have the full solar eclipse in the 8th house, which can indicate ending a serious connection, whether it's a marriage or whether it's a business connection as well. You kind of have a lot going on here, right? So then we have the beautiful 6 of wands, 3 of cups, justice reverse, and the high priestess, right? So this is interesting because the 6 of wands is very, very positive energy. If this has to do with a relationship, feelings being shared, well received, having a good understanding of each other and being supportive, regardless of like what's going on, right? But there's this energy of communication, right? That's indicated here. If this is more to do with like career or money, this is Jupiter and Libra energy. There's deserved success coming in, great energy if you've been struggling. This is acknowledgement at work, but this is definitely some good news coming in, which is nice to get after the 10 of wands. Because like if a job ended and you feel really stressed out, this is a new opportunity, new acknowledgement coming in, which I do like. That's going to bring you the support that you need, which is going to be nice too. Three of Cups could also indicate that whatever you're going through, you have the support of your family and friends, or there are at least people in your life that have your back, maybe your kids, maybe your good friends, maybe your family, whatever it is. So let's continue with this row here. We have the Justice reverse, which it does indicate that for you right now, life feels or is out of balance. If not in a single area, several areas, depending on your situation. And a decision may not go, you feel, in your favor, or somebody, or maybe it has nothing to do with the decision. Maybe someone you feel like is being dishonest or unfair with you, and your voice isn't really being heard in the situation, and a frustrated energy is happening for you because you just feel like, why don't they understand me? It's almost like feeling like you're speaking so clearly and they're just not getting it, right? And that could happen a lot because remember the eclipse, the solar eclipse, everything is being sort of hidden in that 8th house, and that's where Mercury is. So don't be surprised if you're feeling that. So be, vigilant in standing up for yourself. Find your voice in a way that they'll understand and maintain your values. Just be sure that you're being really honest about whatever it is that you're fighting for, especially during a solar eclipse over the next 6 months. When you're dealing with Sagittarius, you're also dealing with Jupiter, who's always in a very tight dance with karma. So make sure your integrity is exercised big time. Don't lie to make somebody else feel better. Be as honest and as kind as you can be about what it is that you're feeling. And that's being clarified, though, by the High Priestess. So I feel like you're not going to be completely truthful right now, at least not in the moment. Maybe you're being like, oh, it's not really going to serve me to give them all the information. Maybe I need to play it smart, right? When we have these two energies together, some of you may be trying to play it smart. You know what I'm saying? Because the High Priestess is wisdom and intuition, but it's also about secrets. It's being very selective with how you say what you say in order to do several things at once. Do damage control, but also try to have the outcome that it is that you want, right? And it's this is not being malicious, it's being smart, right? It is being smart. But I do feel like there's some stuff, this is like planning, there's strategizing, all of this happening underneath your hood is what I see happening. So we have 9 of Cups, happiness, right? So your happiness is being clarified by the Page of Cups in reverse. So, the Page of Cups in reverse is, something not working here. The Page of Cups in reverse. It's the breakup, divorce, something like that. But that being exactly what you need to do. But I feel like for some of you, what is holding you back is this, you're dependent on this person in some way, even if it's just on their energy, even if it's not on their money. But that's like what you need to become happier. But the anxiety could be in your ability to detach from what you know to be unfair in your life. And also Justice reverse, because let's keep in mind, Justice is Libra. Libra is the landlord of the 7th house of marriage and partnerships, of contracts as well. So if anything is unfair here, so something ends, you feel overwhelmed to get a new job. You're focusing on what's not working on in the marriage, right? And you guys being able to sit down and have a conversation about it. You're focusing on your happiness, and you know that at the end of the day, getting out of something is exactly what you need, right? So you have this energy of, anxiety, not responding well, knowing that you have to leave because something feels very unfair about a contract, about something going on in that relationship. Something does not feel equitable. You don't feel like your emotional needs are being met. You don't feel like money is fair, whatever the case is, right? And then we have this hard work, patient energy, 7 of Pentacles, focusing on the future. You're looking, you're setting your ducks up in a row, but you're not talking. Shh, don't tell anybody. You're not telling anybody about what it is that you have planned moving forward. Interesting. So let's pull for those of you in a complicated relationship. Mars and Scorpio in your 7th house of relationships. So there is this warrior-like energy in that seventh house. You know what happens when Mars is in the seventh? We get very defensive of how well we're very defensive of the fairness in a relationship, you know, fairness in a contract, even, you know, because it's contracts as well. Mm-hmm. Some of you may be staying in a situation for the children. We have the Empress energy coming into this. She's the mother of the tarot. She's also has to do with growth and expansion and feeling fulfilled and being able to grow in life, being able to grow, be established out in society, right? So that was in the recent past coming into this energy. Not wanting to upset the apple cart, right? That kind of thing. But the thing is, you want to grow in your life. You want to collaborate with somebody and grow, and you want to be in something that ends up bringing you to that beautiful space, right? This is a Mars and Capricorn energy. You want to be successful, right? In relationship. You want to feel really comfortable where you're allowed to be yourself, right? Just allowed to be yourself. But some of you just might be very focused on just moving forward. You know, now this could have to do with, you know, for some of you, there might be some conflict on how you are moving forward in something. So there could be conflict around home improvements, the buying or the selling of a home, launching some sort of project that you guys have been working on, how you're going to be moving forward in the marriage, whether you should have children or not, right? Because it's on your mind here for some of you. But looking at all of this and having conflict, though, is showing up as your challenge. 5 of Wands is that competition, battle of the wills, lack of agreement, strong opinion. It's like that one-upmanship energy, you know, becomes very combative and competitive. So we have the Hermit as the basis of the situation, informing temperance. Okay, listen, what I'm getting, first of all, Hermit. The Hermit is Virgo. This is almost like a hidden enemy kind of thing. Almost getting a vibe. Okay, you guys are in a complicated situation. It's almost like keep your enemies, your friends close and your enemies closer kind of thing. And I hate to say that, but I feel like a very heavy combative energy in this. Not that you don't love them, but you see what I'm saying? Like that energy of competition. Because there is something very secretive about this, because you're very deep within. This is a moon energy, so it's a very internal energy. And you're doing a lot of self-exploration. You're going within, you're looking to problem solve. And you know that the way to get past whatever issue is going on is through temperance, right? Temperance is all about finding a new level of trust and patient cooperation after a really difficult time period. Right? And being able to cooperate and reconcile issues that are going on and try to find some healing in the situation. But I feel like there's almost an element of manipulation about this, but not to be mean, but like with a purpose, because it's almost like you're saying to yourself, well, what's the point in just spewing out A, B, and C isn't working? I'm out of here. Because then you might be biting your nose off to spite your face, which is silly, right? So you're strategizing, right? Hermit, Virgo, problem solving. Temperance, what do you need? What do I need? What does the situation need? This attempt to problem solve some sort of situation, right? Now, a lot of you are also recognizing that if you guys have a fighting chance to work, you need to spend more time together. You have to invest a lot more energy, a lot more effort and time to work to smooth over any issues, right? You really need to do that, but that's going to require stepping over the ego, stepping over the almost what I'm vibing almost as an apathetic energy, feeling like it's just too late, like I just don't want to bother with it. And that's really in the space, so you're going to have to really look at that. We have the energy of advice here of what you need to look at is the sun. So this is a very sort of, besides all else, very serendipitous energy, right? Now, the sun rules Leo. Leo rules the fifth house, which is where we find our kids, right? So whatever your situation is, Taurus, in this complicated situation, if you have children, you're being asked to put them first. If you don't have, right, what is good for the children ultimately? Sometimes staying is not good for the kids. You know, there's been a ton of research on this. This is not me giving my opinion, right? Sometimes it's just not the best thing, because then they're looking at dysfunction within relationship and it's processing as that's what's normal in relationship, right? And so we don't want to do that, right? So if you have children, if you don't have children, you really do need to be looking at yourself and your joy, because the sun rules Leo, fifth house, the house of joy, and what makes you happy. And you have to be looking at your happiness in this area, right? Now, we have the energy of the person that you're dealing with here is the Page of Cups. So the Page of Cups is this energy coming in, which is delivering what they perceive to be as good news, right? Now, keeping it real for some of you, you may be dealing with somebody who met somebody new, because the Page of Cups could also be a new relationship for them. Or they're asking you to, try again, try differently, whatever the situation is. But they want to have this new cycle with you. Now we have in your psychological block some confusion and commitment issue going on here. Seven of Cups, choices, confusion, extremes. You may be feeling very like emotional in this area. Not sure what's real, what's not. Things feel up in the air, but you can feel the beginning stages of something, right? Where you could feel either the beginning of the end or the beginning of completely revamping the relationship. But you do feel energetically that it's not going to continue the way it's been. And then we have the Magician and the Two of Pentacles. So the Magician is in the near future. So a lot of solid conversation, which is good. This is going to be good. The Magician is Mercury. Mercury rules Gemini and Virgo. So communicating to problem solve. Also, Virgo is sixth house energy, which is also the beginning of lawsuits. So it depends on your situation. You guys may be having conversation about the fact that it's time to possibly think about starting the process for separation or divorce, because that's also Virgo energy as well. So we have this Two of Pentacle energy is the final outcome. Each pentacle is a path, and you're trying to negotiate, making a decision regarding more than one path here, right? So you can feel a sense of lack in something, whether it's, money within the relationship, connection within the relationship, whatever it is, wherever the lack is, you need to decide which pentacle you need to put down. Are you going to stay? You're going to go. What are you going to do? It does seem like that. We have the Strength in reverse. Oh, this is really kind of difficult, having a hard time making a decision for sure. Taking a risk of any kind, really not wanting to have confrontation here, right? You might even ignore your instincts in the name of safety or ease, but this is going to stunt yourself in the situation here with this complicated relationship. So be careful of, that you don't overthink, you don't struggle with analysis paralysis, because it's really better to face whatever it is and be grateful for the lesson in the experience, because whatever it is, it's not going to go away on its own. It's not going to like self-correct, You can't drink a bottle of wine, go to bed, and have everything be okay in the morning. You know what I mean? Like, this is the kind of thing where you really do need to look at it. So we have the Ten of Cups, okay. Six of Swords. Okay. Yeah. So it's almost like you almost don't want to deal with the fact that you're detaching from this relationship, from whatever, whether it's a marriage, a long-term relationship, whatever it is. But you're leaving the toxicity, and it's all very painful for you with the Three of Swords. There's no question. It's like the reality of the truth is very, very painful for you. This is very painful. Many of you are going to be feeling, you're going to be dealing with a lot of nostalgia. You're going to be feeling with a lot of missing, wanting to reconnect with the way things were once upon a time, wanting to find balance within the situation, wanting to remedy everything. But it's almost like you're trying to save something that doesn't exist anymore, if that makes sense. It's almost like you're chasing smoke in a way. And then we have clarifying the Six of Cups. We have this Two of Wands energy. So this, Two of Wands is a very nice energy. Again, it's Mars and Aries, feeling very assertive for a fresh path, a new perspective, making plans, moving forward, gaining influence in your work, focusing on other things. Focusing on other things. The High Priestess energy, your emotions, you're going to be very in touch with your emotions, but you're going to be holding secrets. You're not going to be disclosing how you really feel about things. And what's interesting is like part of what you feel is that you still have fire in your belly for this energy, even though you want out of it because you've just been through so much. You're so tired. Like maybe if you just get away from everything for 6 months and just sleep and do something nice for yourself, you might come back with fresh eyes, but like you can't do that kind of thing. And you're in this space where you're probably feeling very defensive right now, right? You don't want to stay in a negative mindset, though. You want to make sure of that. And we have that being clarified by the Page of Swords. And the Page of Swords energy, Page of Wands. Page of Wands energy is this call to really express yourself. But it does seem like whatever ends up coming in, whatever you guys sit down and negotiate or figure out, or whatever conclusion you come to for the relationship, it does seem like it's not going to be exactly what it is that you want. It might appeal to you in theory, and you may stay just to make your life easier. You might do that. But ultimately, you're going to have a really hard time being in that space. Now we have that clarified by the King of Wands in reverse. This could be somebody who's a bully, right? Literally, it's a silly word, but sometimes it's the perfect word. They could be a bully, or they could be very manipulative. They could be very, narcissistic. Could be that on the one hand. On the other hand, this could be the energy of just not feeling ready to put the work into the relationship in the way that it's meant, that's necessary. This can also indicate somebody being very weak. Again, speaking to not wanting to put the work in, right? But finally, this could also indicate sexual problems, like just maybe the intimacy isn't there. The intimacy is very dormant, or somebody is having some sort of physical issue with the ability to be intimate, right? It could certainly be that as well. Or somebody is playing around, right? I mean, there could be that. But there could be a lot of discomfort around the idea of sexuality, because that is wands or passion, right? It can mean that. But a lot of confusion going on here right now. The Hierophant reverse, I mean, absolutely challenges in the marriage is no question. Being misled by a morally compromised person, or being surrounded by people giving poor advice, or who are very self-interested, could be for some of you. But just recognizing that the expectations and the need to conform to what's necessary in this particular relationship is either something that you're just not willing to do or be anymore, or you're realizing that they're not capable of doing that. And it's almost reached an impasse, and you guys have to figure out exactly what it is that you want to do. This is a long video, but I can't close off the messages just willy-nilly. Like I'd be leaving you guys hanging. Can't do that. All right, complicated. Amen to that. Use those of you who are single. Magician. Ooh, maybe meeting a Gemini or a Virgo. Manifesting. Maybe meeting somebody online or at work. Because Gemini rules communication, even online. In your neighborhood. Oh, we have a choice of places to meet. But the Magician being Mercury also rules Virgo, which rules your day-to-day work environment and your health. So you might meet them at the gym, at the doctor's office. Okay. Too many places, right, for it to feel specific, but that's truly what all of these things mean. Okay. So we have the Ten of Swords starting out. So obviously this is getting over. Something ended that you were in already, right? You're single now, but something ended. So there was an ending to a very painful time period for you. And now you're ready with a lighter energy and fresh eyes to move forward after something not working. Six of Swords, extricating yourself, detaching from the negativity, working on yourself right now. Seven of Swords. Hold on. Oh my goodness. So let's have a conversation about what's going on here. Because, okay, awesome. I'm moving away from that toxicity. I'm done with that. That person is no good for me, no good for me. And then we have the Seven of Swords. Seven of Swords is a moon in Aquarius energy. Moon was your emotions. Aquarius is different than what I'm showing you, right? So you could be sort of saying, I'm totally over that person. I'm done with them. I'm never going back to them. There's nothing about them that appeals to me, that I want to be with them. But meanwhile, it's like in your emotional space, you're like, wow, I wonder how they're doing. I wonder what's going on with them, right? And sort of being pushed into this very nostalgic energy and thinking about, oh, is it possible to balance out that relationship after what went on? I don't know. So you focusing though on your work right now, responsibilities, focusing on you. But you're being clarified here by the devil energy. So you're being pulled into this other direction. But whatever energy you're being pulled towards is not balanced. That's the thing. The devil energy is not balanced, right? This could have to do with somebody where there's a lot of narcissistic tendencies, cheating, addiction, anxiety and depression, unchecked, untreated, and they won't get help for it. You know what I mean? Like any kind of balance like that. It does seem like you're online. You're trying to meet people. You're out there at work, in your neighborhood, whatever it is. You know, you have the open affect, but you still have somebody who's very much in your energy right now. Let's pull some here. Knight of Swords in reverse. This is a chaotic energy. Lots of sexual excess. Somebody who's very, very just cold, you know, deliberately cruel, kind of messy. Is when we're talking about swords, we're talking about truth, communication, and all of that. So this would be somebody, so communication reverse could be manipulation, it could be lies, right? Deliberately cruel, and but being very impulsive with what it is that they say. And like leaving things quite, you know what I mean? Like a very like, let me just cut this off here, right? With the swords and just go do whatever I want to do. It's any night energy that's reversed. You got to watch out for that sort of thing. King of Cups, the Hermit, the Eight of Wands. Oh my goodness. The King of Coins. Yeah, I mean, look, this is what I'm seeing here. You guys are single. You still have somebody else in your energy. Trying to meet people, working through the ending of something. You are missing somebody. This is the thing. You definitely want to settle a conflict. If it's not just within yourself, it's with them. Maybe there's some sort of unfinished business that you have to go through, right? Then we have the Hermit energy, recognizing that if it hasn't worked out up to this point, it's not good for you. There's a reason why this didn't work out. There's a reason for it. And you need to look at that common denominator for any of the cycles involved, right, in that energy. But it does seem like somebody's going to be reaching out to you. But you have to understand that with the King of Coins energy, they're not changing. They might appear a certain way. This is almost like a dangerous energy because they could be like very into like the love bombing thing. They could come off as being really generous, really like there with you, right? But then at the same time, they might be a little weird with their money, or they're not willing to make changes, or they do something that's like a little left to center that comes off as being very greedy, and they're not willing to concede, right? So it does seem like moving forward, moving away from them is the better. Is the better energy. Yeah. You guys just get, also, like, whatever you were caught up here, there were a lot of arguments. Okay, a lot of arguments about what it is that you guys wanted to do, what it is that you guys wanted to build, right? And you didn't feel like your voice was heard strongly enough. So you're doing a lot of working on yourself right now. This first week of December, for those of you who are single, whoever's resonating with this, I don't see anybody new coming in per se. I see you talking to people, you know what I mean? But I see you continuing to work through something that did not work out. That didn't work out. That was not good for you anyway. So good riddance to that energy. Now we're going to pull in separation. I feel like we're going to get to that. Okay, let's see. I don't know. Those of you in separation. Oh, this is a very controlling energy. I don't like it. I don't like it, Taurus. And I never say, those of you who've been watching me regularly, I never say that. I said that twice this week to you and to Aries. I don't like it. No. I keep track of you from afar by looking you up online. That's being clarified by kisses, unconditionally loving you, giving and receiving affection, falling in love. And then we have the Knight of Pentacles. Knight of Pentacles, listen, keeping it real, the Knight of Pentacles. This person may come off as very, I love you, I'm loyal, I'm dependable, I'm all of that, but they're missing something and you can't not see it. Whether it's that you guys don't really enjoy doing the same thing, or they're not generous enough, or they're not exciting enough, or they're just not like into life in the same way as you, right? I mean, you guys are Taurus, right? You want to go out to good restaurants and eat some good food, drink some good wine, listen to some good music. You want to smell some good things, feel some good things. You're all about the body and the Venusian and feeling. You know, you guys are earthy. You like the earth. You want to go. So if somebody just wants to be like, you know, doing totally opposite things than that, or have a lot of structure and restrictions surrounding lots of conditions, that could just, you know, not be good for you. I wonder if you still think about me. How do you feel about me now that you've had time to reflect? That's being clarified by engagement, partnership, commitment, eternity, completion, union. So look, I mean, a lot of you may be missing this person, okay? I get it, right? We have the Four of Wands energy, which is that, you know, honeymoon card. This is a coming home energy. I get it. So a lot of you may be because it's the center row, a lot of you may be still very much thinking about somebody. Obviously, you wouldn't have clicked on to this part of the video, but really wanting to be in that more, let's say, advanced state in the relationship or fix something. Our beliefs were just too different. I couldn't reconcile mine to yours. This is somebody who is mad and flexible. And then we have the butterfly, relationship evolving to the next phase, healing the inner child and growth. And that's being clarified by the Empress energy. So let's pull here. Hangman, Nine of Swords, King of Cups, Queen of Pentacles, okay, and the Hermit energy. All right, so we're going to need to pull more on that. So yeah, definitely somebody is saying that I've changed. I want to grow. I want to grow with you, right? Lots of energy here. But then we have the Hangman. Hangman is Neptune, and Neptune is very sort of smoke and mirrors, pressing the pause button, saying, I don't know. I don't know, really asking, if I stay in this, am I going to end up martyring what it is that I really want for myself and sacrificing myself just to be in this relationship? You know, so many parts of this relationship I love, but then there are these parts that make me feel really uncomfortable about being in it, right? And the big question here is, Taurus, do you like the version of yourself, who you are when you're in that relationship? You know, because I do feel like there is a lot of anxiety, depression, not responding well to the external stress of this whole thing. And I feel like it's the energy, the push and pull energy of feeling drawn on the one hand, but you know better on the other hand, and you're trying to reason that out within yourself. Then we have the King of Cups. You have to settle this conflict within yourself regarding this person, right? You really do. You need to settle this conflict. And we have the Queen of Pentacles. You have to make sure that you're taking care of yourself, that your body, your mind, your soul, your spirit, your money, everything is being taken care of on your end, right? And that you're looking at, is this a healthy situation for you? And you're going to be doing a lot of self-exploration, a lot of personal analysis, and there's got to be this understanding that whatever you were in up to this point wasn't meant for you, because it's time for you now to work on yourself. And you have to think about these past experiences so that the mistakes aren't repeated in the future. So you don't want to get back with somebody to feel better about yourself. You want to get back with somebody so that, because they're a really good partner for you. And if I feel like you're not sold on the fact that this person is really a very good partner for you, does seem like that. But this is only 1 week. Let's see what happens next week. So that's what I have for you, my Taurus friends. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. You guys have a beautiful week. Happy eclipsing, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.